What if I told you that the reason you're not growing is because you're too full of everything you already think you know? You're about to hear a story that many masters pass down in silence. One that reveals why the loudest people often learn the least. And it all starts with a single cup of tea. In search of the ultimate truth, a young monk left his monastery and set off into the world. He was not like other monks. He was hungry. Hungry for knowledge. Hungry for answers. Hungry for the kind of wisdom that couldn't be found in scrolls alone. So he walked through deserts and forests, through silence and storms. He studied under the brightest minds, meditated in the quietest caves. Years passed. His bag grew heavy, not with items, but with teachings, quotes, philosophies, ideas. But the more he knew, the more uneasy he felt. Each truth led to another question. And so, restlessly, he continued. One day, he heard of a master said to live in solitude at the edge of the mountains. A man who no longer taught many. Some said he could see into your soul. Others said he poured strange cups of tea. When the monk arrived, he bowed deeply. He offered rare herbs and fruit as a sign of respect. The old master said nothing, just smiled, and motioned for the monk to sit across from him. A teapot sat between them, steam rising like smoke from a sacred fire. Eager to make a good impression, the monk began to speak. Not just casually, but proudly. He spoke of his travels, his teachings, the deep things he believed he had come to understand. And all the while, the master poured tea. First slowly, then steadily, then curiously, continuously. Still, the master poured. Still, the monk spoke. Finally, noticing the spilling tea trickling across the table, the monk paused. The monk replied shockingly, "Master, the tea, it's overflowing. You must stop." The master paused, then looked at the monk with eyes that had weathered centuries. The master said calmly, "Yes, but why stop? You didn't." The monk blinked, confused. "Master, this cup is like your mind. You have filled it with so much. Thoughts, teachings, pride, opinions. It is full. And when a cup is full, what happens when you add more? It spills, it wastes." Exactly. Wisdom cannot enter a vessel already overflowing with ego. The words hit him harder than any lesson he had ever received. He realized that in all his travels, he had gathered knowledge, but he had not made room for understanding. He had collected truths, but not digested them. Only by emptying himself could he begin to truly learn. You must make space for truth to enter. Humility creates the room that wisdom needs. And in that moment, the monk let go of his pride, his showmanship, his need to impress. He emptied his cup, not just of tea, but of ego. We live in a world where everyone wants to speak, to show, to prove. But sometimes, the wisest thing you can do is to stay silent, to listen, to pour out everything you thought you knew, so that something deeper can finally take its place. Moral: a full cup cannot receive more. To grow in wisdom, first, become empty. If you found this scroll inspiring, share it with someone who just might need it. Also, if you forget to like and subscribe, this may be the last time you see any of my inspiring scrolls. See you next time.